Hey everyone, it's me again. So we are now in module 4. This time we're going to be talking about analysis and synthesis. So let's get on it. Okay, so the topic outline for this module will again only include two kinds of problems. We're only going to talk about these two: reading comprehension and problems in sentence completion. Okay, so well, you know how these problems usually are, I suppose. They're fairly common, but I often find, or at least many people find these problems very taxing, nakakapagod kasi uh, especially in the reading comprehension part where kailangan yung basahin yung buong passage para masagutan niyo yung mga questions. So in this module, we're going to talk about how you excel and prepare for these kinds of questions and some of the general tips to while answering these questions, no? Tsaka some sample problems that will briefly be explained, no? Because these kinds of questions kasi because they are so common and they are meant to uh they are meant to review you or to remind you of how to think or how to analyze information effectively and actually do this every day. You comprehend things every day when you go to Facebook, when you read stuff. No, I guess ideally or hopefully you guys comprehend what you read, no, in social media. No, and if you do, then you are exercising reading comprehension. Um, you do this you do these activities fairly often, no, fairly often. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first is how do you prepare and excel with these uh, to 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 excel in these kinds of problems, no? So first thing is you read, right? It is literally the only way to prepare and to excel in these kinds of problems, no? So what you can do is you can start with reading an hour a day and then gradually increase this reading time. So just like what I recommended in the previous module, no, where I recommended you to read on newspapers, this time I would actually recommend you to read some creative works, some fiction works, such as short stories, no, either English or Filipino. Okay, that's fine. Whichever language, but preferably both, no. Um, you're comfortable with. Uh, you read fiction um, materials such as novels, short stories, poems are really good as well. So yeah, you read and then start with an hour a day, right? Don't or maybe you could even start half an hour, like 30 minutes a day if you really are not into reading. Kapag hindi talaga kayo sanay or hindi talaga kayo nagbabasa, I mean, I hope you do. Lalo na yung mga nasa college ngayon na nanonood, no? I hope you do read. But if you don't, and that's perfectly fine, if you're not comfortable or hindi kayo sanay, that's okay. You don't have to stress about it. But you know, you can improve on it, and you can start with just reading an hour a day. And after an hour, you stop and you reflect on what you just read, right? And then you can gradually increase your reading time. For example, siguro after 3 days or maybe a week, maybe you can add in a bit. You can add in 15 minutes or 30 minutes hanggang sa masanay kayo. Remember that reading is not a talent that is inherent. Hindi siya, you're not born with reading comprehension. Reading has to be practiced. Reading is a skill, just like any other skill that has to be practiced in order to be good at. So it has to be also habit, no? In order for you to excel at it. right? It's just like, playing the guitar. If you want to play the guitar well, all you have to do is play the guitar for days on end, no? So the second thing you could do is to strengthen your vocabulary, right? This is essential because you're going to read words, and some words are some can some words can be unfamiliar to you. So in order to battle that, in order to fight that, you strengthen your vocabulary. So when you go in, you learn two new words every day, right? Two new words every day. It's not that hard. It only takes like what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just siguro may nabasa kayong hindi niyo maintindihan, and you can just quickly go to dictionary.com or just and search for the word. And in that way, you have already learned that word. No? But again, huwag niyo naman kalimutan sana yung word na yun. You have to, retain it. You learn the word and you retain it, of course. So you do this for a month. Okay? And if you do that, you will have learned around 60 new words, which is generally more than the test questions in the vocabulary section. No? So do this for a month, and you will already have a lot of words that may come out in the vocabulary section. 60 new words is a lot already. No? Okay. So you can start with that. But if you really wanna be if you wanna really strengthen it, I'd suggest you learn 5 to 10 new words every day. Pero again, start at your own pace. Okay? You can start just 2 words now. Okay, and then thirdly and finally is developing critical thinking. No? So basically, critical thinking is just your ability to evaluate information effectively and objectively. No, it's just being good at analyzing and evaluating information. That's what critical thinking is. No? Remember that the critical mind has never failed anyone. Even in your personal lives, no, makakatulong yan. So how will critical thinking help? In answering questions, in reading comprehension, and even sentence completion problems. No? Well, in reading comprehension kasi, when you would like to comprehend something, of course you will have to analyze what you're reading. You will have to evaluate the information that you have just read. And so that is where critical thinking comes into play. Actually, if you will think hard about it, reading comprehension is also a test of critical thinking skills. How good are you at evaluating the information that you just read, in this short amount of time, okay, or in a limited amount of time, okay? So by doing these three, uh, I guarantee you, if you do this like 6 months before the exams, or even a year before the exams, if you really want to pass them, no, um, you'd pass, guaranteed. No? At least in that section, okay, in that section, in the reading comprehension and in the sentence completion section, or even in the English section in general, you will pass if you do these three, guaranteed. Okay. Okay, before we go to the sample problems and how we deal with them, okay, briefly general tips. First, take note of context clues. They are your best friends. Okay, so your context clue is a form of information that offers suggestions about the meaning of a certain word or a phrase. You are not required to know everything. That is a walang ano yun. Walang saysayon. It is a nonsensical goal for you to know everything before a test, before an exam. You are bound to not know something, especially when you are dealing with paragraphs, words. Meron talagang mga phrases or words na medyo unfamiliar, medyo mahirap intindihin. Okay? And hindi kabisado, no? That is where context clues come into place. No? A context clue are suggestions within a certain sentence or within a certain paragraph that helps you form the meaning of a certain word or a phrase. Now, these are just literally clues, no, in finding out what this particular word mean or what this phrase means, no. So take note of those context clues. They are really helpful, lalo na pag you really do not know that word or phrase. And then for reading comprehension problems, one thing I generally do whenever I take these tests is I scan the questions first before reading the passage. But here's a note. No? This technique may not be for everyone, but no, you can definitely try practicing it before the exams. Okay, so upon opening the booklet or the test paper, no, I go to the questions first. I see the questions, right? Number one, what's number talking about? And after I do that, I take note of these questions. I mentally take note of these questions, okay, as I read the passage. No? This way, I will be focused on, or I can I can be focused on spotting the information that may help me answer the questions that I have just read. No, instead of just of course you can do this, but again, you are short on time here, so this technique can help limit the amount of time that you spend in reading the passage. No? Kasi 'di ba, pag nakita yung tanong, diba? And then a brief reading of the passage, if you find that clue or that answer mismo, then okay nga na, 'di ba? You can move on to the next question, right? But again, this has to be practiced, no? Kasi baka sa pagmamadali niyo ng paghahanap ng ng answer, baka maling answer pa yung makita niyo dahil sa sobrang madali niyo. Again, this has to be practiced, no? Okay, so you can scan the question first before reading the passage. So let's get on to the sample problems. Okay, here is a fairly easy reading comprehension question. So this is an excerpt from The Golden Mean by Aristotle. So just go to the question. What is the golden mean identified by Aristotle? Virtue, vices, emotion, action. And then I go to the selection. Virtue then is the mean between two vices. By the way, remember the technique that I taught you sa module number 3, right? Reading the selection or reading sentences as a group, not just per word. No? This kind of technique will also help you in not just absorbing information in the most information in a limited amount of time, but it will also help you contextualize. Now, yun din yung important dito sa reading comprehension, not just in organization of ideas. By contextualizing, you are relating or you are looking at the paragraph as a whole. Okay? You're looking at the paragraph as a whole. So, okay, now let's try to do that. No? So, I mentally read the passage or sentences as a group. No? So I just, I'm in my mind, I underline stuff like this one, and I read them just like that. I don't read them like, for example, normally how you read is you read each word like virtue, then is the mean between two vices. It's gonna take you a long time, to get as much information as you can when you do that. No, you can do that, but again, it's gonna take a lot of time. So what you could do instead is you practice reading sentences as a group. So just read them as a whole. Virtue then is the meaning between vices. Vice arising from excess and the one proceeding from defect. Virtue finds and chooses, right, that which is mean in both emotion and action. See? So that took us around, what, 5 seconds? 6 seconds? No? So, and then go back to the question, diba? And I remember, what is the golden mean? No? What is the one identified by Aristotle? Well, now you know, no? Just by reading this sentence as a group, makikita nyo na. Okay? Virtue then is the mean between two vices. Okay? Then virtue it is. Right? I mean, it couldn't be vices, obviously. It couldn't even be emotion. It could be action. Okay? So that's how you take care of this question. So the answer here is letter A. Alright, let's go to the second question. Okay, this is a bit long. But again, okay, one thing that you should never, that you should avoid is panicking in pag nakakita kayo ng ganitong kahabang passage. Remember to just relax and calm yourself. No? Um, the span of 15 seconds is actually a long time. Don't stress out with losing, I might lose time ganyan ganyan. Just try and focus, no? Focus on that simple passage. Kasi minsan ang nangyayari pag ganito, what I often find people do is they stress over before nila sagutin yung tanong. No, they stress over kung ang haba naman nito ganyan yan. So instead of doing that, no, instead of unnecessarily checking kung gaano kahaba yung question na to, or gaano kahaba yung susunod na question, or yung susunod na question, no, you focus on that passage. Put your attention there. No? Okay, so in this case, no, I go to the question first. Which of the following is the reason? So we're looking for a reason why there is war. Why there is war. Okay, so now let's read. All animals wage perpetual war. Every species is born to devour another. Not one, not even sheep or dogs, that does not swallow a prodigious number of invisible creatures. Males make war for the females. That's one reason. Like Menelaus and Paris. Air, earth, water are fields of carnage. God, having given reason to man, this reason might teach them not to emulate the brutes, particularly when nature has provided them neither with arms to kill their fellows, nor with a desire for their blood. Can there be anything more horrible in all nature? An excerpt by Voltaire. Okay, so I look at the question, I check the choices, I'm looking for a reason why there is war. So, what reason can we find here? That is fairly obvious. Nakita natin agad. That is quite obvious, no? And if you check the choices, which among these choices are the most sensible answers? Right? Desire for what others have? No, the passage didn't talk about any desire. No? To exact revenge for a wrongdoing? It didn't talk about revenge. I didn't even spot any word about revenge. To fight over women, right? This is familiar, right? Because we just saw it, like, what, 10 seconds ago, no? Males make war for the females. Okay? To prove that one's race is better than the other. It didn't talk about this as well. No? It didn't talk about any dominant race wanting to dominate another. No, it didn't talk about that. But it did talk about males making war for the females. So, the most sensible answer here, therefore, is letter C. Okay? How much did it take us? 30 seconds? Alright. Let's move on to the next question. What is the author's stand on war? Okay, now that you have initially read the excerpt, wag yun na siyang basahin, as in buong basahin. Okay? What you do is now, you scan. You scan for significant details, no, that will help you lead to the question at hand. No? So by doing that, you are saving again yourself some time. Okay? So we're looking at the author's stand on war. No? So I've checked the choices. It is horrible, it is important, it is a means to control population, it is a natural product of man's reason. Now, again, this is where critical thinking stands. You analyze what the author is or thinks about war in this passage. No? So take note of this question. Can there be anything more horrible in all nature? Okay, what horrible thing is he talking about? Obviously, he's talking about war. No? So what is his stand on war then? It is, at initial glances, it is horrible. Is it important? He didn't say anything about the importance of war. It is a means to control population? Definitely not. He didn't even mention anything about population. It is a natural product of man's reason? No, that's the exact opposite of what he said here. Diba? Okay, he gave reason, and this reason might teach them not to emulate the brutes, what do you call this? Hindi siya hindi para hindi nila gayahin yung ginagawa ng mga hayop, no? Who wage perpetual war? So definitely not letter D. Definitely letter A. Okay? So yeah, so that is the answer. Alright, catching up so far. If it, again, binibilisan ko so that um, masanay kayong mag-isip ng mabilis, no? So yun, you practice. Again, this will all be, you can all do this